They say silence can scream louder than any voice, and nowhere is that silence more terrifying than the forgotten town of Hollow Creek, where in 1923, an entire family vanished from their farmhouse, leaving behind a dinner still steaming on the table. Children's toys scattered across the wooden floor, and candles flickering as if frozen in time. And the neighbors who first entered swore they felt a chill not of winter, but of something watching, something waiting. Because how does a family of 5 disappear without a single sound, without a single trace, without even the echo of footsteps in the snow? Sound cue, creaking floorboards, faint wind. At first, the sheriff called a runaway case, but if you stood inside that farmhouse, you'd know no family leaves in the middle of supper. No mother abandons her children's shoes by the fire. No father leaves his pipe burning in the ashtray. So what happened in Hollow Creek that night? Visual cue, flickering candle on table, untouched plates. The neighbors said they saw lanterns of woods, heard children's laughter in the distance when no children remained alive there. But the deeper the search went, the stranger the town became, as if Hollow Creek itself wanted the family hidden. The police searched the wells, drained the river, tore apart barns, and yet not a single clue came forward except for claw marks carved into the inside of the cellar door, marks that looked human but desperate, as though someone was trapped inside, fighting to get out. Sound cue, scratching nails on wood. Were those the screams of the Hollow Creek family, buried alive by someone they trusted, or was it something darker, something inhuman, something the townsfolk whispered about but never dared to name? Question 1. If you stood before that cellar door, would you open it or run for your life? For months the investigation spread. Newspapers called it The Vanishing Family of Hollow Creek. And ghost hunters, journalists, even fortune tellers arrived, each hoping to find a missing father, mother, and 3 children. But every single lead collapsed into nothing. Sound cue, newspaper rustle, typewriter keys. The sheriff claimed the family must have fled debts, but the bank records showed they owed nothing. A preacher claimed it was God's punishment, but the church records showed they had been devoted members. Others claimed the land itself was cursed by the blood of an older family who died violently their decade before. Yet no one dared to speak their names out loud. Visual cue, abandoned church with cracked stained glass windows. Even stranger, the family's closest neighbor, old Mrs. Halloway, told the press she saw the mother standing at her window the night after the family had already vanished, her face pale, eyes wide, hand pressed against the glass, as if begging to be seen. But when she called out, the figure simply faded into the shadows. Sound cue, faint woman's whisper, then silence. Question 2. If you had been that neighbor, would you believe your eyes, or convince yourself it was just imagination? Years passed. The house was boarded up. The town shrank. People moved away. But the farmhouse remained, and every so often trespassers would enter, and every single one swore strange happenings. Footsteps in the attic when no one was there, a child's giggle echoing from the walls, shadows moving where no light should fall, and in the cellar, the stench of earth disturbed, as if graves had been dug but never filled. Sound cue, shovel hitting dirt. And yet no bones were ever found, no blood, no sign of a struggle, only absence, pure, cold absence. Which leads to the most chilling question. Was the family taken from inside their own home, or did they willingly walk into the forest that night, never to return? Question 3. If you were forced to choose which fate is worse, being taken by a killer you know, or walking into the woods to face something you don't. Decades later, in 1964, explorers broke into the farmhouse and discovered something the police had missed. Children's drawings hidden under a loose floorboard, depicting figures standing by their beds, tall, faceless, with lanterns in hand. At the bottom of one page, a single word scrawled in a child's handwriting. He comes. Sound cue. Faint child's whisper. He comes. Was it a warning, a memory, or the final message before they were taken? Question 4. Do you think children can sense dangers adults cannot? Or was it all a coincidence too strange to ignore? And if those drawings were real, who or what was he? The story of Hollow Creek became a local legend, but those who tried to forget couldn't. Because travelers still claimed to see figures wander in the woods with lanterns. Families who camped nearby reported voices of children calling their names. And some swore that if you entered the farmhouse at midnight, you'd see the family seated at the dinner table, frozen in silence, eyes wide, as if reliving the moment of their disappearance again and again. Visual cue, ghostly figures at dinner table. Question 5. If you could see them, would you sit down with them or flee into the night? Even now, Hollow Creek is nothing but ruins swallowed by the forest. Yet those who pass by claim a woman's face appears in the upstairs window, always staring, always waiting, as if guarding the secret the world was never meant to know. Sound cue, faint heartbeat rising. And this leads to the question no one dares ask out loud. Did Hollow Creek consume them? Or is the family still out there, somewhere forgotten but not gone? Question 6. Do you believe this family was erased by human hands, or by something far beyond human understanding? Whatever answer you choose, one thing is certain. Some mysteries are not meant to be solved, and some stories never end. They simply wait for the next soul brave enough to listen. So now I ask you, at what exact second in the story did you feel the chill crawl down your spine? And which country are you watching from? Write your answer in the comments below, because I read every single one, and your words keep these forgotten stories alive. And if you crave more, subscribe to this channel, because the next story may be darker, deeper, and far more terrifying than anything you've ever heard. And trust me, you won't want to face it alone.